Great.
100 wins the rest. How's that sound to you?
Man, that's why I play the game, is to win. Just to be in great company with some amazing players, in the history of this game. Peyton Manning, I remember going to his passing academy when I was young, yay high. And some of the other guys, that have gotten 100 wins and stuff like that. It's pretty special, and so, for me, I've always said for myself personally, every day I want to treat it as a new day, like I don't even know anything. And so, I think back to all the great players I've been fortunate to play with, and these guys on this team, and obviously Coach Carroll and John Schneider for believing in me, Paul Allen. Thanks for taking a chance on me. And it's just the Allen family as a whole. I think that, I think back to my dad when he used to wake me up in the morning. And before, I didn't really want to wake up that early. He used to try to wake me up at 5:15, 5:30 in the morning. And he'd knock on my door and say, "Son, you want to be great?" Every day. "Son, you want to be great?" Knock on my door. And I started answering the call. I tried to be up earlier than him. And I think back to my mom and my dad. They both demonstrated so much faith. And they believed in my brother, my sister, and I so much that they always encouraged rather than discouraged, like I always say. And just, I'm excited about the next 100. There's more championships. There's more things we want to do. There's more of this season that we have to do. And, I'm just fortunate, to any young kid out there too, I think about the hard work. Hard work pays off. You have to put the work in. There's no mistake in the hard work. And a guy like Trevor Moawad, even though he's not here anymore, he would say the best is ahead. So that's what I believe, the best is ahead.
You guys had -7 yards the first 5 drives. Just didn't seem like you could get anything going. Were there any significant adaptations that were made at that point, or was it just 1 or 2 big plays and suddenly just?
I think you guys jinxed us, man. I think you guys were saying that we could start good early, and couldn't finish late, so we just flipped it around on you guys. I think that obviously they're a good football team. They got great pass rushers. They got great things they do. They got great scheme. We just struggled early. Our defense was playing great throughout the whole game. They played great early. They were able to hang on there and get some key plays. I think Diggs getting that pick and just doing some different things that guys just making great plays, and just we stayed together. There was no doubt, and we really believed throughout the whole game that we could win it, and we just stayed the course. Stayed the course, kept our language right. Had that championship language on the sidelines with everybody, and just making sure that the huddle was tight and everything else. And next thing you know, we picked up the tempo a little bit, and we got a groove going, and just we started moving the ball extremely well. We had the touchdown to DK right before the half started, and then next thing you know, we came out in the second half, and we had those, I think three consecutive drives where we scored touchdowns, I believe it was. That was just kind of, we really caught that groove and found a way to make some plays.
Where do you rank that spin out touchdown pass to Swain and all you've done?
I don't know. We've had some good plays in my career. Definitely a good one though. That was, we had Dante rushing off the edge there, and then whenever you see Bosa right there next to you too, both of them right there, it's kind of so one of those moments. But it was definitely one of the top 10, I think. That was a good one.
When did you know you had the corner on your touchdown run?
I kind of read through all the progressions. Kind of things weren't really there right away. I kind of just, I just kind of slid step left, and Dwayne did a good job of moving his guy in, and just kind of was able to get outside. And I kept my eyes downfield. I saw Tyler trying to race across, which I'm always looking to throw it, but and I said, let's take off and go dive for the end zone, and I was able to get in there.
I think you never lost 3 in a row. Was that any kind of motivation for you, Russ?
I don't think about losing. I just not thinking about losing 3 in a row. Thinking about losing 1. Thinking about losing 2. I just don't think about it. It's not in my repertoire. It's not in my thought process. To be honest with you, I don't think about it. I just think about winning. So I think the biggest thing is winning the process every week, every day. I think that's why we've been able to be so successful in the midst of adversity. I said earlier in this week, I love adversity. It's the truth. I don't mind it. I look forward to it rather than run away from it. And I think our football team does too. And so we still got a lot ahead. We were able to win this game today, and that's what we came here to do in a tough environment. Levi Stadium is always one of the toughest places to play, especially because NFC West game. There's it's the crowd's good and all that too. And it was hot out there today too. So we were able to really do what we needed to do best, and we were able to find a way to win.
mentioned, you stay even keel on the sideline.
Say it one more time.
Dwayne said that, you always stay even keel when you're on the sideline, when he gets more emotional. So after that fifth straight 3 and out, what was your demeanor and what were you saying to the guys to pretty much change the momentum there? Because you guys scored right before the halftime and kind of changed the momentum for you guys, right?
Yeah, I just number one thing is I always stay neutral. You're not trying to get too high, not trying to get too low. Something I really believe in. I think the second thing is that language is everything. Language controls a lot of how we think about things and emotions and all that. So I think having a neutral mindset, but also having neutral language and speaking the truth. If the truth is okay, we've had some 3 and outs, but the truth is it's just 7-0. That's the score. So let's go answer. Let's go find a way. Let's stay together no matter what it takes, and we're gonna get it done. There is no other option. We're gonna get it done, and that's what we were able to do.
Was it that it was only 7-0 because the defense was getting stops?
Yeah, the defense was doing tremendous today. I mean, you got to give them credit. They were all over the field. I mean, guys were smoking guys and hitting people. You saw Jamal in that big hit near the end of the game. You saw Diggs make the interception. I thought Ryan Neal played terrific. I thought D. Taylor got after the quarterback a few times. There was just a lot of guys making a lot of plays, and that was a beautiful thing. And we're all in this thing together. We're all fighting for the same thing, and that's to win, and that's to perform at the highest level and do it together. And it's such a special team. We have a special team, and special group of guys, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Did going tempo a little bit more help you guys, you think?
Yeah, I think tempo really helped us. We obviously got in a groove there. That drive we scored the touchdown right before half, we kind of picked up the tempo and made some calls and checks and things and different things. And then we were able to get into the end zone. Shane called a great play for the touchdown pass to DK. DK did a great job of winning and getting inside and diving for the end zone. And then the rest of the game, really, that's what we did the whole time for the most part, was trying to be at the line of scrimmage and really trying to challenge the defense, because we have some good stuff and we know what to get to and how to get to it, and that was really great. It really picked up our momentum and our big play moments and different things. It just kept the tempo on them and put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Do you guys have more modes or styles of tempo now than you had in the past?
Yeah, we have tons of different tempos, and stuff. So obviously we have our 2-minute in the midst of it, but there's different ways that we can get, we can go rapid fire, lightning fast, and we can also mix it up and without saying too much, I try to just control the game, and I told Shane, I said, let's go for it, let me be a part of controlling the game with you, and let's go get them because we can, and so that's what we did, and we, Shane and I are so connected in such a good way, he loves it, and that's why he's here, that's why he's so special at what he does, and it was just a really good flow and mesh of what we were trying to do, and we were able to get to everything that we wanted to.
You said you wanted to go tempo before the first touchdown drive?
Yeah, right before that drive, I said, hey, we just change it up. Let's not huddle anymore and do all this. Let's move, and we were able to do that and kind of get rolling there and put the pressure on them. And so you kind of felt that momentum change and shift.
You really can't get tempo unless you don't get first down, but Alex Collins goes 28 yards down the sideline for that catch. How big a play was that?
That was a huge play. I mean, Alex Collins did a tremendous job today. He had a sweet touchdown run too. He's just sweet feet back there, man. He's just able to make people miss and do some special things. Got the right attitude every day, and we have a great group of running backs that can make a lot of plays. And Chris Carson getting that huge first down on 3rd and 1, and just some things that we were able to do in that drive. And then obviously shortly after, ended up getting us to AC's run touchdown. He does a great job of kind of scampering, and just guys doing a great job blocking. And it was just a great. I think the second half was a really great second half, and we were able to do everything we wanted to.
DK and Tyler had some injuries this week. You kind of fought through those. Just, I guess, how obviously it was important to have those guys out there, but just kind of what was that like, seeing those guys fight through this?
Yeah, I mean, just you have champions in DK and Tyler. They're winners. They're able to be tremendous pros to battle through some injuries and things, things that happen. Just it's football, and those guys they leave everything on the line every day, and those two guys are so smart. They're so talented, obviously, and they're just great playmakers, and they made some huge plays this game, and it's exciting. It's such an honor and just a blessing just to be able to play with such amazing guys that are so dedicated to the game. Freddie Swain's another guy that's dedicated to the game. There's so many, but just think about that wide receiver crew, Penny Hart, and just guys who step up and step in. It's fun. It's fun. It's really cool.
Thursday night game, do you watch the film of this on the flight home and then you're done with it, or when do you move right on to it?
Yeah, I'll watch this. No, probably twice on the way home, and then start watching LA right away too on a plane if I have enough time. I know it's a shorter flight, so It's the shortest flight I think we have all year, so which is a good thing, I guess. But yeah, I'll start watching LA tonight, and then first thing tomorrow morning.
The idea of staying neutral in a situation like early in this game, do you have to resist the urge to not do that, or is it just second nature by this point?
You have to resist the urge to not do what?
To not stay neutral. I mean, is it tempting to, talk sort of in a different way than you normally do, or get frustrated?
Yeah, I just believe in the thought process. I don't blink, I don't blink. It's supposed to be challenged, supposed to be hard. I like it. I like it when it's tough. It's okay. And that's what champions do. They answer. They respond. They are able to find ways, and I think that's part of a season. It's part of a journey. Been through too much. Been through too much, seen too much, played too much, gone through a lot of amazing wins and some tough losses, and so I've seen it all. I think. So I think the reality is that it's nothing I haven't seen, nothing I haven't experienced, and and so as long as we can control us, internally, mentally, play with great emotion. I'm not saying don't play with great emotion. I get fired up when we make a play, but it's not being emotional, and I think that's the great balance you got to have.
Anything else, guys? Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much to the Seahawks fans. Go Hawks. Yep.